And why are you laughing?
Yeah, well.
I think we know the answer, don't we? I think the thing is that when we've got a female politician, Julia Gillard, there's certainly a lot more to talk about. With Tony Abbott, we talk about the budgie smugglers, but with Julia, we talk about her hair, her makeup, the types of clothing that she's wearing, the colours, how many times she's wearing a particular suit. We've got the whole works to have a go at.
Yeah, Tony Abbott could wear the same suit day in, day out, and nobody would know, would they?
They really wouldn't notice, would they?
No, exactly right. We might notice if he wore the same tie 3 times in a row, but it's certainly not the suit. And we might notice with him if the tie and the shirt and the suit clashed in some way. But you can't really get it wrong. If you've got a dark suit and a light shirt and, a diagonal stripe on his tie, he's not going to get it wrong.
It's almost regulation, isn't it? The dark suit, the white shirt. No matter what, it's a white shirt. Obviously, that it's good for television as well because it's a great contrast. But what's with the slacks with Julia? Because when the whole Kevin Rudd thing erupted, someone sort of sneakily said in my ear, "It's an assassin in slacks," and why wear slacks 24/7?
Oh well, it's probably more comfortable for her. Certainly with women's attire, if you're going to be wearing a skirt and certainly something around knee length, then you really need to be wearing higher heels. And higher heels when you're traipsing around the country is certainly not going to be comfortable.
And when you're clambering around looking at, mining developments and hospitals, you can't afford a shot up the skirt, Tom.
Well, I never thought of that. No, I never thought of that.
Annalisa, he doesn't understand, does he?
It's
Being
all
a man.
The shoes. It's all about the shoes.
I saw a little bit of footage the other night of Julia Gillard from several years ago, and she has changed so much in her style. I mean, her hair was shorter and she looked totally different. Do you reckon there's been a really strategic move to change the way she looks?
I don't know. Probably not. I think if you look at anyone's photos from, 10 years ago or more, we all, grow and develop and change the way that we look. One of the things that has stayed the same for her is obviously the colour of her hair, or the range of colour of her hair, which is, a very distinctive trademark.
And do you think she has to hang on to that for that very reason? Like, if she went blonde, would that totally destroy everything?
I'm just trying to picture that. Well, I think the comments that she's made about having red hair now means that it's hard for her to go back. I think the red hair, I love it that she's got red hair. I think it really adds something to her brand. She could certainly change it, and she has done in terms of style and particular shade of red and different foils or different stripes through her hair colour. She's changed. But, maybe she wouldn't be Julia Gillard if she was a blonde.
Annalisa, you sort of gave the game away a bit there because you said the word brand. Is that what it's all about? Is that what being a stylist, especially in the political arena, is that what it's about? It's your brand?
Absolutely. You have to be consistent with what you're projecting from an image perspective. And, even now with Julia's voice too, is part of her brand. Maybe not, even a year ago when we hadn't heard her speak quite as much, but certainly now that's all part of her brand. So any change in that type of thing dramatically will make us believe that she's being insincere and not being her. And, what do we think of with Tony Abbott? It's the budgie smugglers,
Sadly, it's his budgie smugglers, the Speedos. Well, what would happen, though? Like, you're a stylist. I'm a politician. I come to you and I say, look, I've had enough of this slick sort of, stage-managed appearance. That's not me. I want to go to the people. I want to wear jeans, T-shirt. I want to look like everyone else, and I want to talk like everyone else. What would you say to me?
Oh, I'd be saying, who are you appealing to and what does that message say about you? And are you really sure you want to be a politician? Because that kind of doesn't work. The way to think about politicians from my perspective is that really they need to be putting across an image of being professional and trustworthy, as well as being approachable and somebody that listens.
So what kind of message do you think that Tony Abbott and Julia Gillard are giving us with the way they're dressing this election campaign?
So I think Tony Abbott is pretty much doing a great job, and I have to say it is much easier for men to do a great job in this. Even when choosing a suit, there's always a sort of semi-tailor on hand to say, oh, that's a bit too long, oh, we'll just take it in a little bit here, even with the jackets, taking it in around the waist if it's a bit too big or whatever. With women's styling, and let's take if Julia Gillard was going to look for a suit, she wouldn't have the same kind of care or even expectation necessarily when she goes in to buy a suit. And women's shapes tend to be a little different. We're not equally at the shoulders or the bust as we are at the hips. So, often we may need to buy a jacket that fits us around the hips and therefore is too big for us around the shoulders or the bust. But we won't necessarily get the guidance from the shop assistant in this particular case in order to help us to think about how to tailor that or to, in fact, get that tailored. So I think what's really important is that the fit of the outfit is correct. And to give across that kind of image. And I think Julia is just falling a little bit short with that in terms of the fit of her outfit.
Annalisa, you brought up the budgie smuggler, so I'm happy to go there now. It has, as we said, become a bit of a trademark with Tony Abbott. But has that been a positive thing for him? I've heard a lot of women say, oh, Tony, you're handsome, when we hear that kind of meet and greet conversation. I wonder whether he's really playing up that physique, that action man, athletic man factor.
Well, so I'm sure he is, and how old is he? Late 40s?
He's just over 50, I think. Yeah,
is he?
He's in pretty good nick. There's no doubting that.
Exactly. So why not show it off? But he could have shown it off without budgie smugglers, right?
But and that's a good point Bron raises, because from a male point of view, I don't want a leader who's an action man. I want a leader who's an action man who can get things done, but not necessarily riding a bike at 5:30 in the morning and then jumping in the ocean.
Put some pants on, you're saying. Put some pants on.
Put it away.
We're talking political style, or perhaps lack thereof, with Annalisa Armitage, a stylist. And I wonder, looking at the great material you've got to work with, Annalisa, who out of the political landscape do you think has great style?
I can't really go past Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
Which isn't really close to home too much, really, is it? And, she's a great icon. And, Julia Gillard could be doing a similar thing. And she could be a great advertisement for Australian fashion, for example. Wearing clothes that are made and designed in Australia would be a huge boost for the fashion industry here. And, you might say, well, that's not her remit, that's not what she's there to do. But we're always going to comment on how she looks, so may as well make it a benefit for Australia.